Matt, what's your favorite memory of Hidden Lake in Warsaw, Indiana?
That is winning nationals in 2019, of course.
It's showtime. This is The Ski Show, the ultimate show ski podcast, and your one and only source for all things show skiing, bringing you news, knowledge, and interviews with the legends and stars of our sport. Here are your hosts, Matt Heilman and Adam Schaller.
Welcome to the Ski Show, still the only media on the planet dedicated to the sport of show skiing. Last episode, we previewed the award show. We have now had the award show and Think Tank weekend. And again, it was an awesome celebration, and we're going to chat a little bit about that here. And we're also going to then chat with a couple guys from the Lake City Skiers all about the history of their club.
Yeah, and today's episode is sponsored by Flyman Skis, custom-made jump skis, and featherboard swivel skis at affordable prices. You can get yours at flymanskis.com. And by Sega Sports. Elevate your game with water ski lessons and trampoline training for freestyle jump. You can check them out at segasports.us.
Yeah. So award show, our fifth one.
Fifth one.
Was great. What were your thoughts? Did you have favorite moments from the award show?
This year I didn't know any of the winners. So it was I liked all of those moments because opening those envelopes I didn't know. And I thought
that was cool that we kept that from you. You asked us to do that.
I thought it was great.
Which was hard to do
when you're planning. Yeah.
Planning and preparation.
Yep.
I think the show was good. The award production the video production was out of this world good. Nick, again, that opening highlight video was my favorite he's ever done.
Yep.
And then we get so much positive feedback. The videos of the nominees for each category is really what makes that show. It's just so fun the way that flows. You and I got to do a better job on our opening monologue. We sucked this year, and we can admit that. We need to put in a little more planning and prep in on that. And it will be, but the award show itself. So a couple of my favorite moments. I loved Catfish Bay winning Team Jump and Jump Team of the Year, and those boys being there. Adam Asmus was the only one not there, but the young guns from Catfish Bay were all there.
Yes.
Super stoked to win that. So fun to have them come and be there for that. That was fun. I thought it was fun when Gavin Welch got his dad's award for over 50. Ryan couldn't be there. Gavin was so freaking excited. Some of those moments were great.
Team USA Girls Montage winning most outstanding act. That was awesome.
And the crowd response. So in that highlight video, in that category was that 4-girl flip, and the crowd went nuts.
Yep.
They knew that those girls were there, or some of them were. The energy in the room was awesome. Cheering, the support.
I think it wasn't our biggest crowd, but I think it was our best.
I think you're probably right.
I think people are starting to kind of self-regulate the noise. We've had issues in the past of the congregation in the back of the room, and I think that's started to kind of self-regulate. The energy in the room was fantastic. All in all, it was a great night. We just need to get better at an opening monologue. Maybe we just shorten it up and don't have a monologue.
Maybe, or we bring in a guest.
Yes, please, somebody else.
Like you said, it wasn't our biggest, and it wasn't. And same for Think Tank. The numbers were down a little bit. Actually, kind of peaked 2 years ago.
2024.
I shouldn't say peaked because we had Kathy Lighting on last episode. And it peaked in the 90s when there were 1,500
triple
registrations for Think Tank.
Almost quadruple the amount.
So this time there were 460-ish, 450, 460, I don't remember the exact number of registrants for Think Tank. So back in the day there were 1,500, but this number is much bigger than COVID and pre-COVID. even pre-COVID, we've grown again. The last couple years have been down just a tick from
not much,
2 years ago.
But they have 2025 was down from 2024, and 2026 was down from 2025.
Yeah, and I don't know the reason for that. Our award show still had a full house. Like, wasn't our peak numbers of 2 years ago, but it was a packed room. So it's still really, really good. But what are there things that we could do better, that Think Tank could do better? What improvement ideas do you have to get 100 more people there?
It's is it because it's in the same location? Would a new location draw people?
Freshen it up? I don't know.
Would maybe some fresh faces for the instructors? Maybe that would, if if you're an instructor or if you're a nominee for the award show, you are bringing people with you, right? I mean, so if there's some new faces in some of those areas, maybe that brings in more people.
Maybe. The thing about the clinics is that the feedback is always great. Like, the content of the clinics, in whatever area, the feedback is always really good. The people learned a lot. They're super appreciative of the instructors, that it was valuable time. So the people attending the clinics, like, the feedback is really, really good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. From a content perspective, it seems to be great.
Yeah, and I did have a thought. I was actually out for a walk because it was really nice on Friday at Think Tank. And they have that big sports dome kind of right down the street.
Yep.
And then we talk about the peak of Think Tank, 1,500 people. That was back when there wasn't club sports.
No.
I mean, you think about a lot of these show ski families, they're very active, so obviously they're doing other sports throughout the year. And, with the onset of club sports, and as I'm walking past this big facility and the parking lot is absolutely packed to the gills with people, whatever it's volleyball or basketball.
I think it's volleyball, yeah.
But, I mean, I think there's just probably more going on.
Yeah, we're never going to have 1,500 again. We're never going to have 1,000. We're never going to probably have 700 because social media, other sports, like you said, like, people are training year-round in whatever sports arena they're in. It used to be that you could miss your sport for a weekend and go hang out at Think Tank, and now people aren't doing that as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it would be, I think Think Tank is incredible. I think it has so much to offer, from the social to the learning to the collaboration. I think it's an incredible event. And so we just would like to see it stabilize or continue to grow a little bit. It was great. Don't get us wrong. Like, having these conversations doesn't mean that Think Tank was bad or it was a bad turnout, because it was really, really good. At the same time, how can we make it better? And I know the Think Tank committee is always looking for ideas as well. But we had a great time.
Absolutely.
Yep. Before we get to our featured interview today, Adam, let's talk about Sega Sports. Sega Sports was an award show sponsor. They were at Think Tank. They were doing what they do best, and that's helping people train for freestyle jump. They do water ski lessons of all types, but for freestyle in particular, they start with thorough trampoline training.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, trampoline training is there to prepare you for new tricks without the harsh falls. They teach you the right technique and help you learn that air sense to make new tricks. They've got the trampoline clinics on the calendar for you to attend to get yourself to one of those this summer.
Yeah. They've helped countless of top skiers perfect their craft, and more freestyle jumpers are now using Sega Sports. Check them out at segasports.us. That's segasports.us. Time for our featured interview today. We love showcasing different teams and their histories on this podcast, and this is going to be a good one. The Lake City Skiers have had tremendous growth over the years. They're now a consistent host at D1 Nationals, and they are set to host the 2027 World Tournament. Joining us today to tell us all about the history of the Lake City Skiers is Randy Patrick and Steve Hawblitzel. Hey, guys. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Welcome to the show.
Gentlemen.
Yeah. We just saw Randy last weekend at the awards show and think tank. It's good to see you and catch up, and got you on stage.
Yeah, you did. Dragged me up there.
Hey, this is going to be a record. I hear back to back. You got them on stage, and now we got them live right here in the podcast. So good to go. Hey,
Yep. The podcast is doing something right, I guess.
yeah. Truth be told, the second your message came through, I texted Randy immediately. Said, "Don't you back out. You're the guy." So here we are. Love you, Randy.
Yep.
Awesome.
Here we are. History
Thanks,
of the Lake City Skiers. Let's get it going. When did the club start?
Well, we always have to honor the roots. So, like many other teams, we were on another ski team here in northern Indiana called the Webster Ski Bees. They're just north of us a little bit, about 10, 15 minutes away. I had joined that when I was a teenager, and a lot of us had been on that club. And for reference, it's still on today. They were founded back in the 40s. They typically do about 8 shows per year. And by shows, I mean, hey, who's here today? Ready, go. And it's, with ski line, a kneeboard line, all that kind of fun. But there was a good chunk of us back in the late 80s that had gotten exposed to tournament show skiing. Like I remember going to my first state competition, watching Wisconsin State in like 1987, 88, something like that. And we all got to this knowledge of, oh my God, there's something else. There's a different way to do this. There's production and everything else. And so, like I said, there was a big chunk of us that were like, wow, we want to do that. And so, long story short, we had a split. Just kind of like, all right, who wants to stay doing this thing over here, which is awesome, still has its place, and then who wants to do this competition thing? And so we made a split. And so, like most teams, no home shite.
Wouldn't be fair, Steve, if you didn't mention the Dixie that would come in and out in the middle of the show.
Absolutely. So there's an old-fashioned
paddle wheel boat.
Paddle wheel boat that's literally in the show site. Like your starting dock was right next to it, and they wouldn't modify their schedule even on show days. And so you might be 15 minutes into your show, and time out, the Dixie's got to leave. And occasionally you miss that mark, and maybe, hey, the Dixie's coming back. Your show ran too long. Like, oh, phooey, Final Pyramid's going around the Dixie boat. So, yeah, you're right, Randy. Good call on that one. But, yeah, lots of fun. So, like most teams, we were a traveling circus for the first couple years, no home site. I vividly recall going, like, to my parents' house on the lake, and we would put a pier just past this little island breakwater, and literally we would swim to that pier, and everybody would hang out on that island, and boats would come back and forth, and we would ski. There was no permits back then, so do what we did. Nobody ever yelled at us, and then we just did traveling shows. Whoever wanted to see us and let us set up, whether it was a marina that might have been our sponsor, anywhere. I'm talking the worst, janky, rough sites. I mean, here I'm preaching the choir with you guys. No, nobody ever can say bad water to you guys. I get it. So it was just crazy. We had our first starting barge, and I used the term barge very openly. It was like this old ratty pontoon. The tunes were filled with foam that had about an hour and a half float time in it, and you better get her back out of the water before she was underwater. So that was where we got started. I mean, Chuck McLaughlin was making our first sets of wideboard skis, believe it or not. I think we still have one of those skis left. It's been cut down because the tails keep rotting. So it's like the junior girls ballet starter ski. We should probably memorialize that thing. We should probably take it out of rotation, but
should go in the Lake City Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it should. We should probably post that somewhere and just take it off the water because it's seen a lot of life since early or late 80s, early 90s at this point. So
you guys were Webster Ski Bees.
Yep.
And then in the late 80s, did you become the Lake City Skiers? Did that split off? What was that, and where were you exactly when that morphed?
Yeah, so we were still here. We were still the traveling circus. We founded our documents in 1989, and our founding title was Costco H2O Ski Show Team. Very easy to say because it stands for Kosciuszko County. Because I remember we were trying to be nice and do because we had people from multiple high schools around the area. So we didn't want to call it anything just Warsaw or whatever. So we were being gracious. So yeah, there was a small group. Chuck McLaughlin is on the founding documents. My dad was on the founding documents. Don Laughlin, so his daughter Teresa is still on the team today. So it's kind of cool. But that was, like I said, in '89. Traveling circus and homemade skis. And thank goodness we found Hidden Lake shortly thereafter. Right, Randy?
Yes.
Yeah, Randy, talk about that. Like, let's talk about the move. When did Hidden Lake come to be? And I assume you really enjoyed not having the Dixie paddle boat coming through on Hidden Lake. Like, where did that come to be? And talk us through that, Randy.
Well, they're in the early 90s, like probably 91, I guess. Of course, the lake was a lot different then. That whole south side of the lake was nothing but trees and swamp. And we had a mobile home over here where the house is now. That was the ski team trailer,
Awesome.
equipment and changing rooms and so forth. But yeah, we had the opportunity to lease the lake for, I think we were paying $3,500 a year for the lake.
Who were you leasing it from?
The owner, land developer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shared it with a 3-event group for a while.
Yeah, they were out there first.
We offered to clean up the piles of beer cans and so forth, and so we kind of nudged them out. But then Tracy and I were fortunate enough to buy the property. The guy came around in 1998, and he said, "Hey, I don't know how much longer you guys are going to be able to ski out here. We're putting the property up for sale." And he was really just putting the land out there up for sale. I said, "Well, what are you going to do with the lake?" And he didn't see much value on the water, really. And so I'm like, oh. And at that time, I didn't know how we were going to pay for it, but seemed like the right thing to do. So we put everything we had together and bought it in 1998. Would be fair to mention back there in 1990, Steve, like we were talking about.
I was coming back.
We did, if you guys look back through the archives sometime, we did make our first debut at D1 Nationals when we had about 12 skiers. I don't know what kind of fluke that was that we went to Janesville, right? It was Janesville?
Yeah, it was. Here, good news, guys.
It was.
I literally have just gotten the entire VHS of that show digitized. So it'll be on my YouTube page soon. And it is awful in the best way ever.
It is. Yeah, in the best way ever. That's so great.
I mean, we're running a 2-boat show, 2 pickup boats. Yeah. I don't think we had a act without a fall the entire show. Here, well, I'll put it this way, guys. I know you can all relate. We've had these tournaments, and we do that show. We're first on the water. Thankfully, very few people were there, right, at that time. Uh-huh. And so we get on the water, we do our show, and it's just a debacle. It's just horrible. And we are all just crushed because, we had visions of we're going to do great. And so immediately after our show, every one of us took off every stitch of Costco H2O gear that we possibly own. And so I remember being around other people hanging out. I wasn't in the beer tent yet. But back then, and people were like, "Oh my God, did you see that first show on the water?" Like, yeah, they sucked. That was awful. I don't know where those guys came from. So it was brutal, just brutal. That's how we got our first Janesville. So here, until last year, Janesville's always just been this like, oh dear, it's got our number.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So Hidden Lake, Randy, then you bought it. Adam, where have you been? Why are you not buying a private lake and land and having the ski team have its own site?
Dude, seriously? We live in Dane County in Wisconsin. You couldn't buy a puddle probably for what they bought Hidden Lake for. No. So, Randy, did you buy Hidden Lake or the team buy Hidden Lake?
My wife and I bought Hidden Lake.
Oh, you own a lake.
Praise the Lord.
You own a lake.
Yeah,
man.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And like Randy said, I mean, it was on the south side. So, like, when you're in our stands today and you look across, you can see the remnants of the sliver of the sand beach and just kind of flip. The jump was turned the other way and the whole 9 yards. So, it's, we were literally skiing in Randy's front yard.
Wow. That's awesome. What a blessing for the team, and then as you guys look ahead to when the team really started to grow. I have to imagine having that site locked down helped big time. But as an outsider, I saw growth from you guys, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. If your team growth took off, is when you guys won Division II Nationals. And that really, from the 30,000-foot view of Show Ski Fan, was the time when Lake City skiers, hit the map and really grew as a show ski team. Would you agree with that? Was that, or when did the club really take off?
Oh, I agree 100%. We changed I don't have the year that we changed to Lake City Skiers. It had to be the late 90s there, going into 2000 probably. But, the Costco H2O show ski team was a mouthful. And Warsaw's kind of known as the city of lakes. We've got 3 larger lakes in town, plus Hidden Lake. And our county has over 100 lakes, and Warsaw's kind of the center hub for the county and for recreational activity and so forth. So it seemed, we got Lake City Bank, we got Lake City Siding, we've got Lake City. So it seemed like it fit the bill to go with Lake City Skiers, and so yeah, when we started doing well in Division II Nationals, that really got us some recognition. Got us some recognition with the community, with the Visitors Convention Bureau. They started figuring out who we were. We started getting some grants, that really give us a shot in the arm. And I'm going to say about 1998, I think we started that season and with 9 skiers, I think.
9 skiers, yeah.
Yeah, we weren't sure we were going to even do anything. And but then all of a sudden, even that season, we ended up with like 15, I think, or maybe 20. But yeah, like in 2000, I'm going to say 2004, 2006, we really started to grow then. And it was that's where Division II was a real shot in the arm for us.
Yeah.
Coming back with a national title and being able to host a national tournament and so forth was really good for us. Steve, you probably can.
Yeah, here it raised the bar for competition because like I said, after the debacle in 1991 or 90 that nobody can remember anymore, thank God, until I posted again. We realized we couldn't compete at that level where the big dogs were, and having D2 gave us something to shoot for, something that we knew we could be competitive with, and so it just set that bar of expectation. We just it upped every facet of the talent that we were attracting. We attracted more of the I want to be a competition skier as opposed to the part-time kind of sort of maybe be involved kind of a deal. And then, yeah, when you look at what Randy was saying regarding our home crowd, we said forever, we were 20 years deep and we were still the best kept secret in town. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, did you guys just start? And they're like, no, we've been here for X amount of years. And so it got us that recognition because the home crowd doesn't know D1 from D2. So we say D2 national champions because we're here in a high school with 5A, 6A, yada, yada. They hear national or state champion, same place. And so it attracted those sponsors that wanted to be a part of it, wanted to be involved. Sponsorship attracts everything. Your equipment improves, your boat improves, and it's the cycle. So yeah, it's been simply amazing from that time in 2006 where we won that first D2 title. Oddly enough and fun enough, in Waterloo, Waterhawk site was our first D2 title. So we're super pumped to go back there this year. It's going to be a full 360 moment coming back as a D2 or D1 team that can actually, put on a good show. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How far away do you pull members? Like how far do people travel?
3.5 hours. Technically, Jeremy, the Amin family, they actually come down for the summer, but Jeremy's got a business up by Detroit, and so he drives back and forth a lot. But family comes down and stays. But we draw people from Fort Wayne, which is 50 minutes away, hour away.
Okay.
Couts, which is almost Valparaiso. So those of you who've driven from that side, so Matt Goodman's been driving hour and a half, 2 hours consistently for years. We have people that come up from Indy. We get a lot of that area, like those Chicago people that want to do lake life here in the northern Indiana area. So we've grabbed some of them over the years, whether they come out of Indy, out of Chicago, out of Detroit. So we get a little bit of
You
everything.
did mean skiers, right? Not
Yeah.
spectators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the question,
Yeah. I mean, I drive a distance to be at that site. I mean, it's a great site to ski at, and I would say that the conditions are probably pretty, predictable, right?
Yeah. Our worst day is which is our blessing and the curse. When we get to a site and it goes south, it's we don't have a ton of experience on that. So recently, as a leader on the show director side of things, I've been pushing our people go practice on a public lake somewhere, please. Just go swivel out in some crap, And thankfully, we've been doing the road show Indiana Beach, who used to have a pro show for years and years and years. We partnered with them. 4 years ago, Randy, 5 years ago, something like that. And we've been consistently doing shows down there 2-3 days a summer where we go down there and put on multiple shows, and it's a mess. So it's every bit what you guys get to deal with on a lot of times. But yeah, the tubers don't stop, the surf boats don't stop, and you plow right through it. So that's been a good experience. But yeah, Hidden Lake is optimal on the tornadoes of days.
Yeah, you guys are blessed. That's awesome. Adam, one of our recent award show sponsors, as always, and episode sponsors, Flyman Skis. They're primed for a big year this year. They continue to pump out great custom-made jump skis, featherboard swivel skis, but they're also getting involved in the sport in multiple ways.
Yeah, that's right. Flyman Skis is hosting a series of tournaments that will feature both freestyle jump and swivel, and they will be live streaming several events, starting with the All-American in April. If there's an event this year, you can bet Flyman will be there in some way, shape, or form.
You bet. And top skiers in both freestyle and swivel are riding Flyman skis, and you should too. Check them out at flymanskis.com. That's flymanskis.com. So D2 was a spark plug.
2006.
You spurred growth.
Back to
You start to see some acceleration as an organization. How was the transition to D1 at that time when you eventually transitioned to D1, and how's it been since?
it was rough.
Yeah,
It was rough at first, and we bounced back and forth. When definitely with years that we didn't do well in regional, and we didn't make it to D1, and so that was tough. Our first breakthrough of the top 10 was actually at Wisconsin Rapids in 2008.
Yeah.
At Red Sands, and that was an experience. But for some reason we had. It's like your teams will go in booms. One year, like everybody comes out of the woodwork. And then you go, it's kind of dry for a couple of years. So that was a year we had everybody, and we skied well there at that site for some reason. And but yeah, breaking out of that and consistently after 2016, we had a few tough years. And 2019, we started moving up the ladder a little bit. And doing better, and hosted 2019 D1 was our first one. Well, and ironically, I guess we hosted 2023 and 2024, and those were pretty good years for us too when we broke into the top 5. So, Steve, you got?
Yeah, I mean, definitely that was the springboard. Like Randy was saying, and in 2014, to that 2016 mark, we were right there in that. We won D2 in 14 and 16. 15, we were right there. And so that was it was very difficult for us as a team. Are we turning the corner? Are we going to legit be a D1 and that's our focus, that's our goal? Or are we going to sit here on this where it was comfortable? Y'all get in your comfortable spots. And, and size-wise, we were still there. We made a concerted push. That was that run, that 14, 15, 16 neighborhood. We got a lot of our old veterans back that maybe had taken a timeout for 4 or 5 years. That's where we picked up like Brian Larson, former Bartlett skier. A lot of folks like Randy said, they came back. And so we were turning that corner just to make that push. And then to his point, you're like, okay, they made that push. We're here. And okay, well, now we're going to fade a little bit. So we're still hanging on, we're still D1, and then yeah, that Top Gun year, good night, stars aligned for us. That season was just magical. Like we accomplished so many team firsts that year. When you just look at so many of the different talents and abilities and everything across the board that we had never even scratched. I think before that season, the most flips we'd ever had off the ramp at one time was three guys. And then we're making the 5, we're making the 4 off the kick, or we're making all kinds of crazy stuff. So it was insane to see that. And as we came back down, you're like, here, we're still putting on good shows. But if you look at our numbers, I'm fearful we might be in the small category for the podcast awards next year as far as total numbers of skiers. But it was pretty similar this year. If you look at our opening act this year, when we ran the triple 1-act show side by side by side, yeah. I think I left 2 skiers on the dock. Like that was everybody. Like game on, if you can make a start, giddy up, you're in. There was like 2 junior ski kids that weren't in opening act. So we were maxed. So that's where, by having the site that we do and going to a lake this year, we're being very creative with how we write the show and the list of acts. And then I'm preaching the choir. I know you guys do the same thing, maximizing your talent with what you got. And, so we're excited to be on 3 lakes this year, obviously.
Yeah.
When did you guys make the decision you were going to put a bid in for hosting D1 Nationals?
Well, I got to say it was a goal to host tournaments, let's say, from the time that we purchased the property. From the time we started developing, we started figuring out how to lay it out, how the best use of the what we had to work with, best use of the property, and how to lay out started with the dock and had that excavated out, and where to make the pre-stage areas, that was next. Pre-stage areas, obviously where the bleachers go. And, for years we had 6-high bleachers, old wooden bleachers were the best, that was our big set of bleachers. And, but yeah, I mean, so we were, and definitely was, back there somewhere in the thought pattern of, wow, wouldn't it be cool to someday be able to host the big tournament, and not really thinking that maybe you never get there, but we'd get to some level of it, and stuff. But we just kept pushing that direction, and finally broke through. So.
And you got the bid in 2019, which holds a fond place in our hearts because we won nationals that year. The first ever D1 nationals at Hidden Lake was won by the Mad City Ski Team, and those are memories that will live with us forever. I had a chance to go. I was at Hidden Lake one other time prior to that. I judged a D2 Nationals. Forget the year. You guys hosted a few times, probably in the early 10s. I don't know, 11. Did you guys host in 10, 11, 12, something in there maybe?
Yep.
Yeah, I was at one of those I judged. But what I'll say is the transformation your site has undergone and the money and effort and work you have put into it has been unbelievable. Like when you guys set your sights on that, and then the way you made changes and you sought feedback from teams, and you want to do everything right. And it was a clear message from day one when you guys got that bid. Like, maybe not everybody was on board wondering about the size of it for a big D1 Nationals, but you did everything perfectly in terms of rolling out the red carpet, asking teams what adjustments they like, providing ample water time, come see our site, come ski with us, come do this, whatever. You guys, and then the site changes, the bleachers, the docks, the whole dock setup, all of it. Like, I just want to commend you guys because it's been awesome to watch the evolution from when I was first there at a D2 Nationals to what it is today. So kudos to you guys.
Yeah,
thank you. We really appreciate that. I mean, that's what we strive to do. That's our thing. Our when we approach hosting tournaments and stuff, it's like do whatever it takes to. I mean, whatever is possible but to help and to make people to make the teams happy. And if we've got something they need, it's like we always tell everybody: if you need something, you let us know. and we're going to find it, if we can, and try to go out of the way. Hopefully, when you come back for your next visit, you're going to notice even more things that have changed for the positive, and just keep striving to make it better and make it good for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you guys crushed it in 2019. Like we went, Matt, we were there for a tournament in June.
We went
right?
there in the fall of 18. We went and practiced down there in August.
Okay.
And then we went to the City of Lakes tournament in June.
Yes. And I remember that because I think it rained the entire way there. It rained during our show. It rained during our takedown, and it rained the entire way home. I was not, I was like, man, how are they, I didn't have a great taste in my mouth, but just because of the rain, I'm like, how are they going to pull off nationals at this site? And then we get there for nationals, and it was awesome. It was awesome. 2019
Rain can really mess things up, that's for sure. But hey, we're trying to do better with scheduling the weather too. So whatever we can do.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that 2018 show, Matt, in August, because you had asked some of our team to participate so that you guys could run a 3-4 highs. Now, fun fact, our team had never run 3-4 highs, and so that actually helped us plant the seed with our team. See, look, this is how, and we mimic some of your rope lengths, and so we just said another one of those seeds that then helped us to 2019, where you go, it helped it all make sense, which was the first time in our club history that we accomplished 3-4 highs as well. So it's kind of cool how it all comes together. But the vision for that site. I mean, here my brother and I talked because I told him that I was recording this podcast, and so we vividly remember back when we were still on the other side of the lake, and I'm talking way, way back. We were dragging a mattress frame behind my dad's Chevy Trailblazer off in the rough areas where we thought parking could be if and when we ever hosted a big tournament. Now, of course, we'd come back home and my dad's truck is beat the crap and dirty as hell and whatever, but he's like, what were you doing? And so, those visions have been there. And I promise that Randy's had those visions forever. And as you come to our site, like, this is where some of my theme park background plays into it. We have these discussions. What is the flow of people? How do we get people in and out in the most efficient? How do we keep barges not interacting with people as much as possible? How do we keep, because it is dangerous. We all know these are big barges. You're rushing, you're tearing down, you're yada, yada. How do we mitigate that interaction and just keep everybody safe and just make it that accessible, usable? Every one of our team meetings before the tournament is show people the love when they get here, show them the love. And so hopefully that's what everybody feels when they come to our site, because that is certainly the goal.
Now it's off to Worlds.
Woo!
You guys are hosting the 2027 World Tournament. You're hosting a crap ton of tournaments in 2027, let's be honest. But Worlds, talk about that and what that means to you and what maybe some of the plans are in place for that.
I mean, we're super excited, terrified, honored, I mean, all of those feelings come into play. There's no doubt. I mean, it's beyond a dream come true, really. I mean, it's crazy. But we're really looking forward to it. We've had a committee laying the groundwork, meeting almost weekly for almost a year. And, so there's a lot of stuff. And we've got a main committee laying the groundwork. We've got subcommittees already, and everybody's got their duties. They're getting out and getting all the quotes and the bids and the costs for
everything,
ceremonies and entertainment. The city's behind us. They're really being supporters, and I think we'll have a downtown street event like in
Winter Haven,
Florida.
Awesome.
You know what? Our listeners don't. For our listeners who don't understand the difference between regionals or nationals and Worlds. Worlds is going to have fewer teams. Maybe it'll be similar to some regionals, fewer than nationals. But it is a much longer duration, bigger event. Teams are going to be in, 10 days before the event. And there's going to be then the week of the tournament. There are, you've got multiple teams in and out, practice every day, all day long, teams and individuals all week long. And the social events and dinners and officials and all the things, like it's just a much bigger deal over a longer period of time. And so it does take a lot of planning and preparation, as it sounds like you guys are already rocking and rolling on.
Huge amount of planning and preparation for sure. I mean, much easier at the boat ramp. You don't have 14 teams. You don't have 14
Right.
teams.
And they're not loading in 7 barges.
Yeah, all those boats and barges and equipment trailers and all that. So that's easier. But like you said, at least 10 days prior. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them don't show up at nationals, and stay, yes. And then we have things like trying to secure a practice lake, since that bar has kind of been set, now it's like, it's not a requirement, but let's go as far as we have to go to try to get that practice lake. And the ceremonies, the opening ceremony is like, man, a team could spend $30,000-$40,000 on just an opening ceremony. A closing ceremony is unbelievable. The costs and
banquet costs for that many people, like it's I can imagine.
You think, you got to have space for 600 people. It's like, well, 600 people really buy? They really come? Well, you're going to have 5 teams. You're going to have 400 people attending from the teams. So it's going to need to be 600 people. Unless you really limit it. We don't want to do that. We want to try to make it as big as it can be. So,
Right. And we've been hearing from, you've said it multiple times, that the social interaction between the teams is some of the best stuff. And so we're really trying to focus on that, because here I think back to all of my best times. It really wasn't in the show. It was in the beer garden afterwards. It was the beer tent. It was in the podcast award show. It was in the social stuff when we all get to mingle afterwards. And so we're certainly taking that entertainment side of it into effect, and just really seeing what we do. Because here, like Randy said, the tournament stuff for the lake, the pre-stage areas, the boat ramps,
that's dialed.
We have about 1% fear, right? Those we can do pretty much in our sleep at this point, the way that site is set up. It's this other stuff that we want people to walk away going, wow, they still crush it. They still have that heart. They still have the energy, whatever we can do on that front. So stay tuned, because I promise you the planning's not over. The committee of the subcommittee is still kicking butt somewhere. I promise you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So last question for you guys as we wrap up here. What's the future for Lake City?
Such a loaded question. Randy, I'll let you go first.
We just keep pushing to get better, keep pushing to move up the ladder, pushing to host tournaments even better, even if you've done it great in the past. So it's always just striving to be another level better, even if it takes a long period of time. Just keep striving to climb that ladder.
Absolutely.
And I'll add in on there, even our entertainment side, for the last several years, it started literally coming out of COVID, where we did our first All-Star show. It's a special event for our community. It is a paid ticket event. We did that for 4 or 5 years, had a great run. It was fantastic. This was the blessing and the curse of our team getting better, because the first year we did All-Star, our local public had never seen even 2 4-highs. You know what I'm saying? It was like they saw 3 4 3, and then also we bring in All-Stars and things are bigger. Coming out of Top Gun year, our home crowd's like, well, I've been seeing that all year. Why do I need to pay for that? So we continue to modify that. So this last year we took a break on purpose. So this year we're very close. We haven't announced it to the grand public yet, so I'm going to make Randy nervous by doing this, but we're really planning a night show this year. We had a practice last year under the lights. It went very well. Again, back to the point of having a controlled environment, a controlled site. I have worked multiple night shows back in the day between Cypress.
Do you guys have lights?
We don't.
Or do you bring them in?
We borrowed some. Yeah.
Bring them in?
Yep. We brought them in. We had a sponsor.
Put those work site lights up.
Yep. The big crank. It's like they're using for the night jump down there in Auburndale. And so it was fantastic. Practice went great. Definitely learned a lot. Like, here, it's cool. I can pull pin in the front stretch where there's lights, and you get in the corner and go, crap, where's that doubles guy? So we learned some things by doing a practice, which is why we didn't throw anything out to the public this year. So we're super excited. We would love to continue to do more things under the lights and add entertainment value for our community and continue to grow that for the local home crowd, because here in the end, that's what fuels us long term, and then it cycles for the tournaments, and it's all that symbiotic relationship they talk about. So we're super excited. We're seeing the passing of the torch, as we look at, that we're blessed to have so many drivers that have 20 plus, even 30 plus years. We've got the next crew coming up. We've got stage guys that have been coming up. We're having other folks that are going to pass that torch. You guys saw I literally skied a show last year and it happened to be nationals. I'm passing that torch. You see my boys all the time. So it's happening. We're in that cycle of transition. So Lake City is going to be small but mighty. It's going to be a fun show. Going to be a good show. And we're excited. Another good season.
It's fun. You guys going to be back at Indiana Beach again this summer?
Yep. We got three dates. Yep. Somewhere in June, somewhere in July, and somewhere in August. It's on my calendar.
Awesome.
So, hey, if anybody's out there and wants to come do a show with us, volunteer. We've had people come. Austin and Gabby have come down and skied with us. So it's been fun. We'll have people come volunteer. If you ever want to ski at it was a legit OG long-running pro show back in the day.
Yeah.
My first contract was actually to Indiana Beach, and then Marine World's contract showed up a week later. So I went to California, but so it's been great to check off that box. So yeah, anybody listening that, hey, you think you might want to come play for a day at an OG pro style show, I'd be happy to have you.
That's awesome. Well, gentlemen, this was fantastic. Thank you for sharing a bit about the history of the Lake City Skiers. We love seeing your growth, seeing where your team has gone. We love coming down there each and every time. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Well, that was great. Those guys are awesome. How about Randy owning Hidden Lake and providing it for the ski team?
Yep. Need a place to ski. We're just this one's for sale? Okay. We'll buy this one. Yeah. We like it. That's
they
awesome.
Got to lease it, and then it came for sale.
Yep.
And they bought it, and they had a mobile home on it, built a house, moved the site to the other side of the lake.
Yeah.
And
now they're hosting Worlds.
Yep.
Right? So did I hear this right? They're hosting Nationals and Worlds in 2027?
They are.
Woo-hoo.
They're just
good for them.
Be set
that
up.
is a lot of work.
That is a lot of work. But if anyone can do it, it's them, right? Like their success hosting has been great. Really fun to hear kind of that past history. And it's been fun to watch their rise. Like I'll be curious to see how they, Steve mentioned they're going to be smaller this year, which is too bad. They had a lot of kind of their core stud males, especially back the last couple of years, or they at least snuck back a couple times during the summer and competed with them. If they end up smaller this year, I'm hoping they keep the fire and stay kind of in that top 5 range because they're a fun show to watch.
Yeah, and their production the last couple of years has been fantastic.
Yep. Good stuff. Thank you to Randy and Steve. Thank you to our sponsors today. Flyman Skis, custom-made jump skis, featherboard swivel skis at affordable prices. Get yours at flymanskis.com. And Sega Sports, water ski, trampoline training, freestyle jump training. Check them out at segasports.us.
And thanks again to all of our listeners and our viewers. This is Matt and Adam, and this is The Ski Show.
Thank you for listening to The Ski Show, the ultimate show ski podcast with Matt and Adam. If you have questions or ideas for the show, find us on social media or message us at theskishowpodcast@gmail.com.